What you do about nothing? Act 3, Scene 3. Oh. Are you good men and true?
Yea, or else it be a pity, but they should suffer salvation body and soul.
Nay, that were a punishment too good for them, if they should have any allegiance to them, being chosen by the Prince's watch.
We'll give them their charge, neighbor Dogberry.
First, who think you most desertless man to be constable?
Hugh Oakcake, sir, or George Seacole, for they can write and read.
Come hither, neighbor Seco. God hath blessed you with a name to be well-flavored man, the gift of fortune, but to write out and read comes by nature.
Both which, Master Constable?
You have. I knew it would be your answer. Well, by your favours, sir, why give God thanks, and make no boast of it. And for you, writing and reading, let that appear that there is no need of such a vanity. You are thought here to be the most senseless and fit man of the constable of the watch. Therefore, you bear the lantern. This is your charge. You shall comprehend all vagrant men. You are to bid any man stand in the prince's name.
How if they will not stand?
Why then, take note of him. But let him go, and presently call the rest of the watch together, and thank God you are rid of a knave.
If he will not stand when he is bidden, he is none of the prince's subjects.
True, and they are to meddle with none but the prince's subjects. You shall also make no noise in the streets, for the watch to babble and to talk is most tolerable and not to be entered.
We would rather sleep than talk. We know it belongs to a watch.
Why, you speak like an ancient and most quiet watchman. For I cannot see how sleeping should offend, only I have care that your bills be not stolen. Well, you are to call all that alehouse and bid those that are drunk and get them to bed.
How if they will not?
Why then, let them alone until they are sober. If I make not then the better answer, you may say they are not men you took them for.
Well, sir.
The thief! You may suspect him be a virtue of your office, but to be true men, and such for such kind men, then less you meddle, or make them, why, the more is for your honesty.
If we know him to be a thief, shall we not lay hands on him?
Truly, by your office you may, but I think that you touch pitch would be defiled. That most peaceable way for you, if you do not take a thief, is to let him show himself for what is steal out of your company.
You have been always called a merciful man, partner.
Truly I am not a hand dog by my will, much more than a man who has honesty in him.
If you hear a child cry in the night, you must call to the nurse and bid her still.
How if the nurse be asleep and cannot hear us?
Why then depart in peace, and let the child wake her in with her crying. For the ewe that will not hear her lamb when it bays will never answer the calf when he bleats.
Very true.
This is the end of your charge. You, constable, are to present the prince's own person. If you meet the prince in night, you may stay him.
By our lady, I think it be so.
5 shillings to 1, that any man knows the statutes, he may stay him, marry, not without the prince be willing, for indeed the watch ought to offend a man, and it is an offence to stay a man against his will.
By our lady, I think it be so.
Ha ha! Well, masters, good night, and there be any matter of weight chances, call me up. Keep your fellows' counsels on your own, and good night. Come, neighbour.
Well, masters, we hear our charge. Let us go sit here upon the church bench till 2, and all to bed.
One more word, honest neighbours. I pray you watch by Signor Leonato's door. For the wedding being there tomorrow, there is a great coil tonight. Adieu, be vigilant, I beseech you.
Conrad, I said.
Here, man, I'm at thy elbow.
Mass, and my elbow itch. I thought it were a stab though.
I owed thee an answer for that, and now forward with thy tale.
Stand thee close then, under this penthouse. For it drizzles rain, and I will, like a true drunkard, utter all to thee.
Some treason, masters, you'd stand so close.
Therefore, now I have earned of Don John 1,000 ducats.
Is it possible that any villainy should be so dear?
Thou should rather ask, if it were possible any villainy should be so rich. When rich villains have need of poor ones make what price of what they will.
I wonder at it.
That shows thou art unconfirmed. Thou knowest that the fashion of a doublet or a hat or a cloak is nothing to a man.
Yes, it is apparel.
I mean the fashion.
Yes, the fashion is the fashion.
Tush, I may as well say the fool's the fool. But seest thou not what a deformed thief this fashion is?
I know that deformed eye has been vile thief this 7 year. Eye goes up and down like a gentleman. I remember his name.
Did thou not hear somebody?
No, 'twas the vein on the house.
Seest thou not what I say? What a deformed thief this fashion is? How giddily turns about all the hot bloods between 14 and 5 and 30, sometimes fashioning them like Pharaoh's soldiers in the Riki painting, sometimes like God Bel's priests in the church old window, sometimes like the shaven Hercules in the smirched wood-eaten tapestry, where his codpiece seems as massy as his club.
Ah, this I see, and I see that the fashion wears out more the apparel than the man. But art not thou thyself giddy with the fashion too, that thou hast shifted out of thy tale in the telling me of the fashion?
Not so, neither. But know that I have tonight wooed Margaret, the lady hero's gentlewoman, by the name of Hero. She leans me out at her mistress's chamber window, bids me 1,000 times a good night. I tell this tale vilely. I should first tell thee how the prince, Claudio, and my master, planted and placed and possessed by my master Don John, saw afar in the orchard this amiable encounter.
And thought Dame Margaret was hero?
2 of them did, the prince and Claudio. But the devil of my master knew she was Margaret, and partly by his oaths, which first possessed them, partly by the dark night, who did deceive them, but chiefly by my villainy, which did confirm any slander that Don John had made. Away went Claudio enraged, swore he would meet her as he was appointed next morning at the temple, and there, before the whole congregation, shame her with what he saw or night, and send her home again without a husband.
Charge you in the prince's name, stand!